President Trump will visit Newport News this week, and a Supreme Court battle continues in Washington. Capitol Insider and former CBS 6 colleague Joe St. George joins me now to discuss the latest in politics and the issues that impact Virginia. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, Bill, good to be with you. 6 weeks to go, my man. 6 weeks to go.
It is coming fast. I tell you what, it seemed like it would never get here, and now it seems like we're closing in. President Trump, of course, as you might have heard, announcing a trip to Virginia, going to Newport News Friday. Now, it does seem surprising, given Virginia's mostly blue status in the presidential race. Who is he targeting with this visit?
I think there's a variety of reasons that President Trump is going to the Hampton Roads area, going to Virginia. The first being that it's a quick Air Force One drive, Air Force One flight. The second being there's a very competitive congressional race in the Hampton Roads area, the 2nd Congressional District in Virginia. And then also don't forget that our sister station, WTKR in Norfolk, the Norfolk Media Market, the Hampton Roads Media Market, they reach portions of North Carolina, and North Carolina is a very crucial swing state for President Donald Trump. You combine that with the fact it's a very strong military area, Bill, it makes sense that President Trump is paying a visit finally to the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Indeed. And we're hearing that the wife of the vice presidential candidate, Jill Biden, is coming to Virginia Thursday. Now, does that mean that Democrats are concerned, or are there more perfunctory reasons for such a visit?
I think what they're doing is saying, look, President Trump is coming a little bit later. Let's try to get ahead of it by sending in Dr. Jill Biden. It's a quick commute from Wilmington, Delaware, where the Biden family lives. Look, I mean, Virginia is always going to be a very important political state. There are key donors and fundraisers that live throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. Both parties want to keep both sides happy, if you will. So no surprise that both campaigns are finally starting to pay attention to Virginia. It's been a humbling election thus far for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Not as much commercials, not as many presidential campaign visits, but with 6 weeks to go, there's a little bit of change in the air.
And as you mentioned, a couple of competitive congressional races as well. Now, in Washington, and you've reported a lot on this, I know, the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Republicans saying they're moving forward with hearings and a vote as soon as President Trump puts up a nominee to replace her. 4 years ago, of course, they said the presidential election should take a higher priority and come first, that the people should have a say. Has that battle impacted the campaign in sort of visible ways or tangible ways yet?
I think it has, and it's become a major rallying cry for both parties as we speak, 6 weeks to go for the election. If you're a conservative watching WTVR, CBS 6 News at 7 tonight, you love the prospect of another justice, a conservative justice, making their way potentially onto the United States Supreme Court. If you're a progressive, if you're a Democrat, you're furious. So I think this is rallying both parties. It's making both parties' base supporters engaged. And that's why you're seeing Republicans move forward with this nomination. They think this could be a winning issue with them at the polls, Bill.
And has it shuffled the sort of Senate scenario? Obviously, Democrats are hoping to get 4 pickups, or at least 3, as well as the presidency. Has it sort of reset the table for that, or is it just simply putting pressure on the senators that might be in the swing states, these so-called vulnerable senators?
Well, look, these vulnerable senators, they've said we're going to go ahead and vote for President Trump's nominee. I'm thinking of like a Senator Cory Gardner in Colorado. My goodness, even Utah Senator Mitt Romney, who voted to impeach President Trump, he is signaling that he would vote to confirm President Trump's nominee. So clearly Republicans, again, think this is a winning issue. And also there's just a lot of power, Bill, with a Supreme Court pick. You know this. I mean, if President Trump appoints someone like a Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, she's 48 years old. She could potentially be a jurist, a judge on the Supreme Court, a justice on the Supreme Court for 40 years. There is a lot of power, a lot of political influence with getting another Supreme Court pick on the high court.
And we've just got a little bit of time left. Joe, tell us, are there any trends that we should be watching, where the campaigns are going to be putting their focus on in these final 6 weeks, or is it basically going to be blanketing everywhere that they can?
Well, Bill, look, 1 week from tonight is the first presidential debate. So we're starting to see what the final calendar is going to look like. This week has been dominated by the Supreme Court. Next week will be the first presidential debate. We're starting to see how this election will come to a close. It will be competitive and it will be contested for sure.
All right. Thank you, Joe St. George, for your insights as always. I hear a chorus of approval back there. Well done, sir, as always. Let's send it out to Francis.